It's time. It's time to go off on the Sharks. Where? Pucknology After Dark. Oh my. Yes, that's what we're gonna frickin' do. You know why? Because this team fell apart again against the LA Kings again when they should have had the game again, and they decide to just ole. It was like freaking giving them the Goldberg effort when they play the Hawks in District 5 of the Mighty Ducks. Oh, just take the goal. I don't care. Just go ahead. Just give it away. Right. We'll have a lot more of that and plenty of opinion coming up. But first, if you want to be a part of the show, use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark to ask questions or comment. You can follow all of us on Twitter at Pucknology, at PuckGuy14, at JAlexander46, at ChrisJWS. Warming up in the bullpen is I Read Pucknology. With us tonight, my Notch Bro, my buddy, apparently my driver too, Gentry Alexander.
Yeah, I like to think that my driving percentage is a lot better than the Sharks' percentages at home against the Kings. That is the second time the Kings have beaten us at SAP Center and embarrassed us in such a fashion that I I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. It was 12.2 seconds and we would have had that game, but
It would have been a 6 point lead for the Kings. Instead, it's 9. We also have Chris JWS.
How's it going? I will be playing the not so angry person tonight.
Yes, lucky you. So I was planning to go a little bit longer, but after what concurred within the last 12 seconds of regulation, along with overtime, I'm just going to leave it at this. Ian, be prepared. We'll call you to the bullpen shortly. 12.2 seconds. 12.2 seconds. Yes, these guys will talk about how wonderful Mike Brown is in the third period and taking stupid penalties that allow them to get some form of momentum in this game. Let's also give you the fact that this team came back and got the lead. Give them kudos for that, absolutely. You have to take care of your power play chances. You absolutely do. There's no beats and bounds about it. And the power play in the third period was more uglier than Mike Ricci on a bad hair day. It just can't get worse. You stop with the fancy passing. You put pucks on net, good things happen. You know why? Because what happens? Hurdle has a 2-on-1. He pulls up, he wipes out the guy. What does he do? He turns around and looks for the pass to Vlasic. It then comes a turnover, and here comes Gabrick down the left side. Remind me where you've heard this one before. Down the left side, and he beats the goaltender who wears the number 31 jersey. Oh, that's right. It happened in the fucking Stadium Series where we embarrassed ourselves. You know why the Sharks aren't taken seriously in the NHL? It's games like this. It's games like this where they don't give a flying fuck. You know, they think they have the game in the bag. Oh, we've intimidated them enough. There's no way it happens. And then all of a sudden, the puck goes through, beat by LeCavalier to tie the game with 12.2 seconds left. And all of a sudden, LA's got all the momentum in the world. All the momentum in the world. They've beaten us twice in San Jose. Oh, that's great. Yeah, we've been on a great run for our home record, but for Christ's sakes, we can't even do shit against LA for some freaking reason. And then we just do. We had a 2-on-1, and we're waiting for the drop pass to the defenseman in overtime. I mean, I don't know how many times we had that tonight, and they just blew it. Go get to the damn net. Take it to the damn net because that at least you can get a shot on goal. Who knows? It might actually go in. What a concept. We could win the game. We could go home happy, and everything would be fine. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. But no, we wait for the pass to, set up the nice fancy little power play goal. Say, ooh, it's so fancy. Yeah, fancy doesn't win fucking Stanley Cups. Get a goal, win the game, go home. Don't think about it and then go, oops. With that, when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change suit up and spot experts. Coming into the bullpen is Ian Reed. I am out. Good night.
Well, with that, I kind of wish Eric stayed long enough for me to say, what do you think they were trying to do, Ray? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go with the complete opposite here, and I'm sure you'll gladly oppose me on this one, Gentry, but that's what makes things fun, right? So I'll put it this way. Yes, the Kings are 2-0 against the Sharks at the Shark Tank this season, which, if you want to call it embarrassing, go ahead. But what do you call the fact that the Sharks are 2-0 at the LA Staples Center? They're 2-0 there. They've actually beaten the Kings by multiple goals in both of those games. So I'm just going to throw a little balance into this. And this game was a good game. The Sharks played a good game. Yeah, they gave up a goal with 12 seconds to go. They're not the first team in NHL history to do that. They won't be the last team in NHL history to do that. Burns screwed up, didn't tie up Lecavalier in front of the net. You know what? It happens. The Sharks right now in their current run, 7-0-2. They've been 50-50 with the Kings this season. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into this and say this is some horrible thing. It's not that big of a deal. They're fine. They went up against Colorado next game. They go into the break 8-0-2. That's great. So that's my take on it initially. Before we get to Ian, let Gentry, you've been on here the longest with me. So what do you think of tonight's game?
I mean, starting off, I felt like the Kings started off as they should have. They dominated most of the first period, and it was very even. I thought, like you said, it was a good game. And I thought that after that first goal from Pavelski, which was a nice hustle effort from Thornton, which is something I think, and give Thornton all the credit in the world. He's on a point streak, and he's playing things the right way. He's making the right plays. Then you think, okay, the momentum is shifted. We've got it, and we're playing actually decent amount of hockey. And then I forget who it was that tied it up. I think it was on the power play, and it was a tie game. But then you get, okay, in the fact that the Kings power play just made it look so easy. It was just a shot from Drew Doughty, and of course it had to fucking be Drew Doughty to tie up the game. But then the Sharks respond, and you're thinking, okay, cool. There's no way we can, we're playing decent. We're doing things the right way. And then 12 seconds left, and Burns doesn't tie up the stick. And ladies and gentlemen, that is one half of your Sharks going to the All-Star game. Is somebody who's now a -9, worst for a Sharks defenseman, but it's okay because he's got all the goals in the world.
Defenseman who can't play defense, right?
Yeah. I don't know what this. I mean, it was a good game. I just wish things would have swayed our way. And I think that the fact that it was the OT winner from Gabrick in the same fashion that he scored in the Stadium Series, I was having PTSD from that.
Yeah, that ending kind of stung.
Yeah, I will never forget the Stadium Series.
Sad face. Ian Reed, good evening to you, sir. Or good morning to you, since I believe in Canada it's 1 a.m., correct? Up in Canada land there. What did you think of the game?
It was, it was just one of those games. I felt like similar to the way I felt after the Ottawa game, but at the same time, like, kind of worse because it's LA. Like, the Sharks did a lot of things right. I know Puck guy was on here talking about the power play earlier, but really my point of concern is the penalty kill. Because I feel like the last, over this stretch, even though we're getting all the points, the penalty kill's been atrocious.
Since Zubris was out, it's something like 66% or something.
Yeah, not nearly good enough. Yeah, the power play could be better, but it's just little mistakes, and then the little mistakes, are the ones that just cost him the game. I don't think the Sharks played a bad game. I mean, I don't think this is the end of the world. The Sharks, we're on a 9-game point streak. 2 of those points are, loser points, but even still, I mean, compared to 2 weeks ago, a month ago, I'll take this.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, it's a loser point, but I look at it like, big picture, they played a good game for the most part. They made some mistakes, and that's the main thing. Like I said, like we said after, both you and me after the Detroit game, even though it was a loss, we were saying they're playing the right way. This is what we want to see because this will turn into wins. Keep playing right.
Yep.
You'll win more than you lose, and that's kind of the bottom line. And like for me, like this game would have been so much more fun if I didn't have a rooting interest because it was dead even in shots, dead even in almost every category. Like it would be fun to watch if you didn't care who won. But I was like, damn it, it's LA. I mean, I always root for the Sharks, but LA does sting. But big picture, it is AJ's favorite thing. It is what it is, and they move on. They go on to we're on to Colorado. They win against Colorado. They go into the break with a good record. They have their chance to make or break themselves in February. I'm not nervous at all about that. Before we move into other stuff, any final thoughts there on what happened in the game, Gentry? Or
nothing really. I mean, I will say this. Man, I'm so glad that the putting Brown in the lineup makes the Sharks feel good because that.
Yeah, so that's actually what I was going to go on to next. So apparently Mike Brown is the world's biggest teddy bear. I guess Brent Burns likes to hold him close and suck his thumb or something, or I don't know what. But I guess he makes everyone feel 10 pounds heavier, probably because he's dragging them down. But Kevin Kurz talked during the game about why Brown keeps getting into the lineup, and Peter DeBoer's answer apparently was that people, they can't trust him in much time, but all the guys like him so much that he makes them feel better. And and Kurz is like, oh, well, that makes sense to me. So what was your thoughts when you saw that, Ian?
Could we not just get the team a puppy or something? Like,
I know, right?
The puppy doesn't have to take the ice at all. He can just sit in the locker room and they can pet him and cuddle him and he doesn't eat a bajillion dollars in cap space more than he should. And I just get the team a puppy.
Well, you just buy them all teddy bears or something.
Right. It'll grow into a big German Shepherd. German Shepherds make people feel safe.
Yeah, exactly. What were your thoughts, Gentry?
I'd say get him a cat because at least the cat could take care of itself. You just put it in a corner and give it.
The cat won't take stupid penalties in the third when you trust him with 2 shifts in the entire third period. I'm
exactly.
Sorry.
And also,
sorry, go ahead.
And also, at least it knows when to take a shit and to clean up after itself when it does. So.
Yeah, it knows scratches in the door let you know I need to take a shit. I need to do it outside and not on the ice.
Right.
So are we saying that Mike Brown is the dog of this team that we always constantly have to let it out to go potty, and that's why that's why we're sucking?
In the third period,
it's so adorable. Look at you, Brown.
And I always have to reiterate, this is not a personal thing. At Sharks Bowling, he was on my lane and all that, and I got to hang out and talk to him. And he's a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy. It's nothing personal. I just think he's a terrible hockey player. And this whole thing. I mean, John Wald also made a good point on Twitter, which I think Kurz actually probably could have made a much better case of this, is that the Sharks had tons of injuries at forward this season, and maybe that is some basis for how he keeps drawing into the lineup. To an extent, I can understand that. I don't understand, now this is what I don't get, is why is Barclay Goodrow in the permanent Barracuda doghouse, has not suited up since November 3rd for the Sharks. Since then, in the Barracuda, I believe he has 30 points in 30 games or something like that.
AHL All-Star.
He's a point-per-game player. AHL All-Star. What did Barclay Goodrow do? Did he sleep with Pete DeBoer's daughter?
I have a better question. What did Ben Smith do? Ben Smith's just wasting away in the press box. And
he's gone now, basically.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, that's what confuses me because, I mean, I know he was injured for a lot of the year, but at the same time, I mean, you got to figure you'd get something better out of Ben Smith than you would ever get out of Mike Brown.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they said he was too far behind, whatever the hell that means. I think that just means the coaching staff he didn't make an impression on the coaching staff. I don't understand what great impression Mike Brown keeps making on the coaching staff. The only thing I hear in the defense of him is guys like him.
Maybe guys don't like Ben Smith. I guess not.
That's wonderful. Guys like him, but that doesn't actually give me because even Kurz was saying, like, if you consider goals and these things and that, actual facts, there's no reason why Brown should play. It's like,
Right.
so if you're living in reality and facts, there's no reason why you should play.
Was he at
Is
3
that what
points?
you're saying?
No, I agree. I think why is Barclay Goodrow in the doghouse of the Barracuda when he plays almost the same way that Mike Brown does, except he's smarter, doesn't take really stupid penalties, and has a
Right.
scoring touch.
And when he was here, he was trusted with 9 minutes a game, which is almost double what Brown gets per game.
Triple in some nights.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the coaching, I mean, that's what I would say. If you want to see what the coaching staff really thinks of Mike Brown, look at the minutes he plays. He does not play minutes. And they play guys who are completely inexperienced. They play DeMello more minutes. They play all these guys, all these, plenty of rookies. They play them more minutes. They trust Nieto with twice as many minutes. So that, to me, that's the proof right there, is they do not trust him. So what does Barclay Goodrow have to do to get back up for even 5 minutes a game?
Score 9 goals in a Barracuda game, and maybe he'll crack the lineup, but as a scratch.
So you're saying he needs to get an Ovech trick?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was what, 2008 that commercial, the Ovech.
Yes. Yeah, that was the reference I was going for, but I don't know what it is about Brown. I don't know what it is about Browns on both the Sharks and the Kings that just make my skin crawl.
What can
But
Brown do for you?
Nothing
That
except for
doesn't make your skin crawl right there. I don't know. It's. I try not to be obsessed with it, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'd like to see Goodrow get another shot. I mean, I'd like to just do something out of this. Maybe when Rafi Torres draws back in, maybe after the All-Star break, who knows? Maybe we can get Brown scratched more than once in a while. If Zubris is healthy, I definitely want to see him scratched over Zubris because, like I said, since Zubris has been out, the Sharks' PK is something like 66% at last check, and that's not going to cut it. Like, they've been winning in spite of a horrific PK.
Chester Chivo with already on the photoshopping. He put the Mike Brown happy pills. Sharks tested, Dober approved.
I have to get this up. You guys talk while I pull this down and put it up.
I don't know what it is, but I think tonight's game is kind of vindictive. I will say the positives from this game that I will point out is Jonas Donskoy continues to impress. I think he started off the season really slow, but I think you put him on a line with Logan Couture, and you're noticing that things are starting to happen, and you're starting to see that building of a chemistry between those two, and you're kind of sitting there looking at that, and then you're noticing that Wingles is on the line, and you're asking yourselves why. He hasn't really contributed in not a whole lot on that line points-wise, so I think it's just because he's Loco's buddy.
Speaking of Donskoy, what do you guys think of that penalty on him in the third?
I mean, it was, but with the way that the whistles were it was so inconsistent, the calls in this game. I mean, was it a call? Yeah, it was a penalty, absolutely. But how many similar calls, didn't get called? That's the part that I didn't understand. It was just a really inconsistent game on the officiating as far as what they let go and what they didn't let go. There was really no rhyme or reason, it seemed.
Yeah, that was my problem. Was like it seemed like all night long they were not calling that on the Kings because the Kings do. I mean, that's their game. Is they grab people, they play right on the edge of the interference thing, and that's the only interference that gets called the entire night. And that was weak. That was just straight weak.
I hate to do the conspiracy theory, but I think somebody called the refs and said, "Hey, make this game interesting."
I know the X-Files are back tonight, but
That's true.
The truth is out there, and the truth is always for the Kings.
Hammer that
I can't do
that.
the theme. I know. Anyone know how to whistle a theme?
It's Felix says the Kings got away with a lot. So did the Sharks, though. Like I said, the game was just so inconsistently officiated. Like there was just it was like, okay, well that's not a call, but this is a call, and they're both pretty flagrant. I don't know. I mean, I didn't feel like how was it? I don't feel like the Sharks got just hosed by calls though. Like I feel
No.
like they were pretty even.
It
No, I
was. It
don't
was
think they
pretty.
got hosed by him. It's more that just like why you call that one?
Yeah,
Like that
no,
seems
that
like a really weak one to call. There's all kinds of ones they could have called all night that would have been much better. It was just the one they called is like, huh? So this is
Yeah.
what he was mentioning on Twitter there, Chester Chivo, rhyming in with the Mike Brown happy pills. To just need. I'm sure the small print says may result in power play goals in the third.
I think. Do you think that maybe just Mike Brown is bribing him by buying the team all food? Like he covers the entire dinner bill. Maybe that's what he does. Like, if you guys play me tonight, I'll buy dinner.
Yeah, I don't know, and like. Guy's actually like personally, he's very quiet and he's a really nice guy. Like I said, like
yeah.
when we did the bowling thing, like me and him talked a lot because like he's got like his kegerator shit going on. I got my setup and we were talking about that. So he's a really nice guy. Just not a good hockey player, and I don't get this whole teddy bear thing. It doesn't. I don't know. Like I was saying, like this is the West Coast media. The West Coast media takes an answer like that and like. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll just take that to the people. They don't know any
We're
better.
we're gonna take that to the people. If that's
That's a great explanation.
You know what it was? I feel like it was a slow news day, so they're like, we need filler. Talk about Mike Brown being a teddy bear. It will be hilarious.
I mean, it's good to hear Kurz admit it is a legitimate question finally instead of calling us all misguided. I'm surprised he didn't take like a jab at all of us on Twitter saying, well, there's a bunch of assholes on Twitter always asking me why we draw as lineup. They're just misguided. But it is a legitimate question.
Right, yeah. Or at least take a shot at least one individual on Twitter.
Oh, no. No.
I'm saying Kurz, not us.
Okay, but I'm saying this is a you-know-who free zone tonight.
Oh,
We're not going to talk about it.
No, I'm not. I just,
Yeah, sorry for everyone out there who doesn't know, but we just a running joke within. Anyways,
he who must not be named.
Yeah. Hi, AJ.
Any thoughts on Hurdle's elbow to Brown that led him to getting a puck in the head, or face rather?
I see the replay very well, so I'll let.
I will say this. Karma. That's all I'm going to say about it. That was beautiful karma. And then I like it kind of just seemed like I almost wish that it would have busted up. I mean, I don't wish any like horrific injury towards any one player, but if that would have just made Brown a little bit uglier, like on the outside, like his soul is on the inside, that would have just been even better for me.
Could it really have made him any uglier, though, to be honest?
Honestly,
he's going to bust his face up, and that'd be a giant improvement, in my opinion. Not that I judge other men's looks very often, but, just saying.
Karma's a bitch.
Karma is a bitch. But apparently the Sharks have paid off the karma, or have not had karma on their side lately.
Well, the karma will be paid off when Dustin Brown is out for half the season with some kind of horrific injury. That's when. So Gen X sends us in, since we're talking X-Files and all that. So this segues into the attendance tonight. Pulling up the number right now. It's a great preparation I have here. So we actually had a sellout tonight. On a Sunday night, or at least the announced attendance, was 17,562, which kind of shocks me because Sunday nights usually aren't really the best night for hockey. Work's coming up tomorrow. I didn't really notice too much on TV. It seemed to me like the lower bowl was reasonably full. I don't know if you guys caught any angles. I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I didn't really. The arena looked full. I mean, I wasn't really scanning the seats per se on the TV, but I mean, it looked full. Sounded good.
Yeah, and I mean, if anyone out there watching right now was at the game, tweeted us, let us know what you thought, because the Sharks aren't dumb like the Coyotes. Like you saw the Coyotes game the other night, how they would like these wide, expansive shots, and you could just see how empty that whole arena was. The Sharks kind of keep their camera angles a little tighter on the ice. They don't let you see too much of the seats because I don't think they want to be embarrassed that much. I think the Coyotes have just accepted their existence as the 9,000 fan a game team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
AJ
but for,
saying, sorry, AJ was saying in chat that that him and Rocket had no problems moving around. So, but rivalry game. Obviously, people are going to show up for it. I mean, if there's a game I'm going to circle on my calendar if I'm living there, LA is going to be one of them for sure.
Yeah, I would have gone tonight, but the tickets were on the expensive side, and I don't know. I'm tired and lazy, so.
I went to the better-ish game yesterday, so I was like, I don't want to go to too many games in 1 week. I've been noticing that I've been going to a lot of more games this season, and I'm like, for what? It's not like the ticket prices are any cheaper, but
Yeah.
still I go.
The math before, if our lovely owner is so disturbed about the attendance, say worst they've been in a decade last year, tickets are higher than ever.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Just saying.
The timing of it. It's just the timing and tone deafness of when they increase the ticket prices too. It's just.
If there was ever a
Sharks
year
on
they should have just bit their lips and froze the prices, it should have been this year.
Yeah,
And
then
they were jumping on
I
overseas
agree.
ticket holders like this time last year to renew.
I think
I
they're
don't
doing
know.
so again too. My understanding is they're doing so again, like with all the deals and stuff that they're trying to do for the season ticket holders. My understanding is if you don't re-up by the end of February, those deals are off the table.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
heard
well,
from
the
AJ. I think
Dodgers,
he's
yeah.
doing a article on season ticket holders, so I think he'll probably have some stuff to fill in when we talk about that in coming weeks. But yeah, I know they're trying to up the perks and all that to be a season ticket holder.
Yes, Slushy, happy birthday.
That counts as your one question, damn it.
Bam.
Okay, no. We'll take a Slushy J question. Just you guys pick one or whatever. We'll do it at some point here. If there's anything else going on in the chat or the hashtag, but if you have anything to say about tonight, we've covered most of what happened in the game tonight. If you have anything to say, sound off. Pucknology After Dark is the hashtag. You can tweet at us at ChristianWS here, at iReadPucknology, and at JAlexander46. It's probably not going to go too late into the night here because we are a Sunday night, and it's a back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
So, so AJ says he's already actually posted that article. So if you're curious to see what AJ Strong has learned about season ticket holders by talking to many of them, check out pucknology.net. There's an article on there by our own AJ Strong.
Indeed.
So I'm running out of topics here because it's Sunday night and all that.
No, and it's like
and
Slushy
second
Jake, getting your question fast, damn it.
Yeah. Save
I
the shit.
think what it comes down to is we're drained because I think that if it was any other team, this loss wouldn't have been that much of it. It wouldn't have hurt. But it's the fucking Kings.
Yep.
And it's like that dagger. It's not even a dagger that quickly goes into you. It's slow and it's the most painful thing. And then you just turn it. And the wound will not fully heal.
Yeah, no, it's that long potato-shaped dagger of Dustin Brown.
Yeah. No, I mean I agree. Like it was funny because like when the way we started the show and just like the chat at the start of the show, like you would think this was our like 9th loss in a row or something. Not a 9-game point streak, but I hate the Kings so much, and I get it. I do because I hate the fucking Kings.
And now I was Mr. Optimism. Honestly, while it pisses me off to lose the Kings, I try to keep everything always in perspective. Perspective must be always.
Absolutely.
Chester Chivo chiming in here. He's like, I wish the All-Star break started tomorrow. I could use a week of that hockey after that game. Honestly, actually, I'm glad there's one more game because I think get some of the bad taste out of our mouths.
Right.
If they beat Colorado,
you
beat Colorado on a 10-game point streak. I'll get over the loss to LA pretty fast.
Because then you go into the All-Star break feeling a little bit good. You can relax because you've gotten points in your last, not like let's say 10 games, and you have something to build upon. Guys are better rested, and maybe you get the younger guys into some Barracuda games. You get Tierney, Hurdle, and Nieto into the Barracuda to keep them, fresh, and then you rest the older guys.
Did Tierney come back? I didn't see I didn't notice him come back or not after that.
Yeah, he did come back. He was back. Let me see how many shifts he actually played. to end that game. Pull it up real quick. And we have a Slushy J question we'll get to in just a moment here.
Nice.
Tierney played 4 shifts in the third after 5 and 5, so it looks like it didn't affect him too much.
That's good. Yeah, I didn't want to see him go down because then, gosh knows, who knows what they would have called up at that point.
Brian Lerg.
Yeah. So
Really?
from Slushy Jake, he asked question: more impressive feat, Chichu's 56 goals or Jumbo's 96 assists? I'll let each of you answer first. We'll start with Ian.
Jumbo. I mean, without Jumbo, Chichu was nothing. Without Jumbo, a lot of players were nothing. So I mean, it's amazing that Chichu should never have been a guy to score so many goals, and and Thornton made it possible. I think that Thornton's the guy for sure.
What do you think, Gentry?
I gotta go with Thornton because, and it's like Ian said, without Thornton, Chichu was a third line winger at best. Good guy to have. He could score. He'd get you like maybe 15, 20 goals in the season, but then he got paired up with Thornton and just went off on a tear. I think the Chichu before Thornton came to the Sharks, Chichu only had, I think, 9 or maybe 6 goals into the season. Thornton comes in and they just find that chemistry, and he goes up to 56. I mean, that's just telling you how talented Joe Thornton, was and still is in his game. So
Gentry, Ian, you ignorant sluts. You're talking about the only 50 goal scorer in the history of the Sharks. Okay, to be real, I'm playing devil's advocate here because we can't all agree. I do agree with you guys, but I will make the case for Chichu here. He is the one and only 50 goal scorer in the history of the Sharks, which is nothing to be sneezed at. I believe we have 3 40 goal scorers, if I remember right. It was Marlowe twice and Heatley once, I think, if I remember right.
And Pavelski.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Pavelski. Actually, no, you're right. I was thinking there was 3. Yeah, so we have 3 of those, which is something to notice. I think you were saying before Thornton came to the Sharks, he actually had 28 goals the year before. So Chichu, in his prime, was not a bad goal scorer with or without Thornton. I mean, Thornton took him to the next level, and I think Thornton is the reason why he became that 50 goal scorer. But I will give Chichu some credit. He took advantage of all those great passes Thornton was giving him. So my real answer is Jumbo, but just to defend Chichu a little bit here, he had a great season.
We're not saying that Chichu was a bad player, and it just sucked to see him decline that much. But I think, and the thing that I was saying is that during the season that Chichu or Thornton came into the Sharks, I think Chichu was sitting at 9 goals to start that season, and then Jumbo came in November 30th. He went from 9 goals to 56, like that.
Yeah,
that's
Jumbo.
impressive.
That was pretty amazing. I mean, that was an incredible year. I mean, Jumbo's had a lot of incredible years with us. I believe also he extended his streak to this game. Was it 8-game point streak? How many now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. But yeah, he's been beasting. He's been a big reason why they've turned around. I mean, the young guys are scoring. That's part of the streak. Jumbo's scoring goals and assists and racking them up. So, like I said, there are some positives here. I don't think we have to worry too much about this.
Landy
on.
brings up a good point on Twitter. He says, why not play Vlasic and Braun with 1 minute in the third? Isn't a part of the issue coaching? And yeah, I think why not put your 2 defensive studs out there for you with a minute left in the game, or maybe they played the shift prior to that. But,
yeah, I tend to agree with that. Let me look at the thing here about who played what. I think they actually were out right before that. I don't know. I'll look that up later. Maybe I'll tweet about that if that turns out to be the case. But yeah, I think I would have wanted to try and have the Rocks out there. Plus, I don't think they took their timeout, did they? So he could have taken a timeout and then tried to get those guys rested. And
but you don't want to take a timeout when you're trying to. You don't want to give LA the rest either, though. At that point.
True, but I mean, if it allowed you to back-to-back Vlasic and Braun, but hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
If Burns ties up his stick, we probably don't even mention that. Don't give Burns a lot of credit for it. To be perfectly honest, we don't talk a lot about what doesn't happen, and maybe they win that one in regulation. I mean, it's it's a game of inches, or just little things, little bounces. Everything can make a difference. So, again, it is what it is. See if we have anything else to cover here. So Colorado is coming up next, and I believe I'm pulling up standings now. Someone said that they are currently streaking. They are 7-3-0 in their last 10, which very impressive. But the Sharks are 7-1-2, so same amount of losses really. But the Sharks have played all their opponents pretty tight. They've haven't really had any game that was really. I mean, the worst game on this stretch was Ottawa. I wasn't too upset with the Detroit loss. I thought they played that one really well. I thought they played tonight really well.
Yeah.
So they're hot as well. So I think it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
And it's also and then you also got to ask who you put in goal. Do you ride Jones for the remainder until the All-Star break?
Yeah,
or
why not?
Do you give Stalock a shot?
I think they win tonight. You put in Stalock, but I would actually say go ahead, and if you think you can, I would put in Jones. So maybe they can. I don't really want to end the thing on a loss to the Kings and then a loss to Colorado as Stalock tries to skate the puck up to center ice, has it stolen from him for 3-on-0 breakaway, where they just tap it into the net, no problem. I mean, hey, do you laugh? But you know full well that could happen.
That could absolutely happen.
The
with
wonderful
Stalock in that.
adventures of Al Stalock.
Don't know what
Chester
wacky thing he's going to do with the
please.
puck next.
Chester Chivo, please make a very childlike, logo. Just the wonderful adventures of Alex Stalock.
Yes, I'd love to see that.
Going down the yellow brick road. Oh, and then you gotta have it where he's like in front of the yellow brick road, and then two guys are just on a breakaway behind him with an open.
Yeah.
Or like I can picture something like Lucy and Charlie Brown, where he thinks he has the puck and the puck gets pulled away or something. Like he's trying to shoot up the boards and it's gone. Of course, the greatest Photoshop ever for the Sharks with involving Charlie Brown is that one of Lucy as Doug Wilson pulling the Stanley Cup away from the Sharks.
Nice. You know what? I'll say this about the game and just kind of the current situation in the standings. As much as I always want us to beat LA whenever we play them, I have no interest in seeing the Sharks wrestle away first in the Pacific from them. I would much rather the Kings face likely a Central Division team in the first round, and the Sharks have a nice cozy opponent in the first round. Whether it be Vancouver, which I think is the biggest pretender in the division, and Arizona. I think the Sharks could beat Arizona in a 7-game series too. Whereas, if LA can pull like a Nashville or something, that's going to be a heavy series for them to start the playoffs with. I'd much rather
face Arizona because or Vancouver or Arizona would be ideal because the travel would be easier for us,
right.
and we've actually I think we've not lost Arizona yet so far this year, so that's. We actually had their number.
So, but like you said though, actually, second in the Pacific's actually a pretty covetous position this time around because first, like you said, we'll draw you against a wild card that might be better than the second place team in the division, whereas the second place team is going to get to go after Vancouver or Coyotes. So, might be a better spot for the Sharks actually if they can maintain that second spot there. So since we're talking standings, bring them up here, and I see them backwards here, which makes them hard to read. But LA is at the top. Let's see how well I read backwards with 63 points and 28 rows. San Jose is in second with 23 rows and 54 points.
Yep.
So they have a 3-point lead on Arizona. I think there's no game in hand there. I'd have to look at the regular standings for that. Vancouver is back with all their loser points, with 16 rows there. Yeah,
Well, as I said,
unfortunately.
they're the biggest pretender in the division.
Yeah, like I would love nothing more than for the Sharks to get second and Vancouver to get third. I mean, we haven't seen how they play Vancouver this season yet, but I would like their chances. And Vancouver, they have 2 games in hand on Vancouver right now. So Vancouver is a pretender as big as can be. Arizona is even with them in terms of games played, 47 each. They have a 3-point lead on them. Anaheim's still way back there, 49 points. Calgary, Edmonton bring up the rear. I think this race is going to come down to the current 2 through 5. I don't think
Yeah.
Calgary gets into this again. Edmonton will be Edmonton
Well,
as
Edmonton's
always.
just injured. Like they can't stay healthy. They've lost. I think Edmonton this year has lost more man games to injury than any other team in the league, and it's not just like little losses either. It's Everley, it's Nugent Hopkins. Now who are they missing now? Is it Nuge that's out now? Like they
Yeah,
just can't
Nuge is
win.
out, and Connor McDavid has been out since I think
Right. I mean, they
November.
just can't
So
seem to win.
They've
Like,
also played the most games in the division with 50. Like they're even ahead of Vancouver 1 game. So it would take a miracle for them to really get back into the game here.
yeah.
Fusion 86 mentioning Jesus just got cleared for full contact. Andrew says he still thinks the Ducks are winning the Pacific. I hope you're joking, Andrew, because maybe they get back in the hunt. I don't think
I think they're
anyone
coming
thinks they're winning
on, but
this.
first in the Pacific, that's going to be quite a jump they need to make. They need a little help from LA on that one.
Yep. So I think that about covers it. So let's probably just go with final thoughts on the game. Start with you, Gentry. If you have anything to add to what we already said, anything you want to reiterate, final thoughts.
nothing really to reiterate. I wish that we could have capitalized a little bit more on our chances on the power play. I think that if that was the deciding factor, if we would have scored maybe at least one, we would have had a better chance at winning. But other than that, it was a typical rivalry game. It had all the drama that you could ever want in a storyline, and unfortunately, the Sharks came up on the short end of the stick. So, kudos to LA, but still, fuck you, Dustin Brown.
Fuck Dustin Brown always. Fuck Dustin Brown must be always. Ian, your final thoughts?
Pretty much like I said off the top. I mean, yeah, it sucks because it's LA and that makes the loss sting all the more. But look what the team's doing. They're still playing good hockey. Unfortunately, mistakes that were made tonight were just glaring because they costed us the game, much like the Ottawa game. But 9 points with with a point in each game at least, 9 games, sorry, with a point in each. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, the Sharks are playing the best hockey they have this year. So we just got to hope that this carries on and they don't let this get in their heads too much. And they go and they keep playing like this. If they play like this in Colorado, they're going to beat Colorado.
Yep, I agree. I think they're playing good hockey, but they're playing consistent hockey. They've made some mistakes that have cost them, but 90% of what you're seeing out there, with some exceptions like the power play, is good. It's you see a lot of positives. I think hopefully they get Zubris back soon. I think when he's been in, I haven't done a full comparison, but when he's been in, their the penalty kill has been much better. Right now, they're only stopping 2 out of every 3 power plays, and that's not going to get it done.
Nope.
That really needs to get fixed. But I think I'm feeling generally positive. I think this upcoming break can help them. If they go in on a good note, I think they can come right back out on a good note. But it is February, and we know how the Sharks are in February, so we'll see. With that said, the Sharks lose tonight to LA in overtime, 3-2. Fuck Dustin Brown. They are still in second place with a 3-point lead over the third place Coyotes. For Puck Guy 14, aka Eric, who spells his name with a K, Gentry Alexander, J Alexander 46 on Twitter, Ian Reed at iRead Pucknology. I'm Chris JWS. You can find me at Chris JWS on Twitter. Please subscribe below if you haven't already. Check out pucknology.net, and you all have a great night, and go Sharks.